Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining. We are here to learn how to boost your business central skills with GitHub Copilot. So, we'll be understanding how to use GitHub Copilot for a business central. Specifically, this is for a developers. Okay, so if you are a developer or if you are looking to boost your, take your career to the next level as a developer, so please watch this completely. So, before we dive in, I just want to give a small introduction about myself. I'm Dr. Gomathi, and I'm just switching off my camera because of poor weather here. Okay, just excuse me for this. And I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, Microsoft Certified Trainer. I'm a doctorate in ML, that is Machine Learning and Data Science. I'm a Microsoft Learn expert. So I published two books specifically for Business Central. Apart from this, I have already published three books. Okay, so for the Business Central, I have published these two books, and I'm a global speaker. I am an Asia and India Book of Record holder. I hold more than five certifications, that is on associate and expert level. Apart from this, I have also completed four basic, like fundamental level of certifications from Microsoft. So this is my two book. This book is actually recently published. That is Dynamics 365 Business Central Developer Certification Companion. And this is my award category under MVP. Like I have awarded under two categories. One is business applications and the data platform, which is under Business Central and Power BI. Okay. So, if you want to know more about me, like if you want to connect with me through LinkedIn or if you want to connect with me, I'm a YouTuber where I'll be just uploading a lot of resources related to Business Central, Power BI, in native language as well, like both in Tamil and English. If you want to connect with me, please scan this QR code so that you can learn more about me, about various books and live activities here. So, first, let us understand what is Business Central, because there are a lot of people here who may not know what is Business Central. So, I just want to start with a small introduction. Don't worry, I'll not take too much of time in explaining you the concepts and the practical and the theoretical part. Okay. So, Business Central is actually a comprehensive ERP solution by Microsoft for small and medium sized businesses, that is SMBs, we used to call. So Business Central is, as I told, is an ERP, which is an enterprise resource planning, which offers a financial management, supply chain management, sales, project operations, and lot of other key features are there under Business Central. Okay, it integrates with all the Microsoft 365 environments as well, and also the third party environments. We can, like third party technology, we can connect through the Business Central. And the biggest plus point with Business Central is what it is customizable. Okay, so it seamlessly integrates with Microsoft 365 products, Power Platform, Azure services, and it is extendable through a customization and the third party apps. So these are all the things like Microsoft Dynamics 365, which has all the features like warehousing, supply chain, projects, services, sales, financials, and everything. And of course, it integrates with various other um, cloud and other industry apps as well here, as shown in this image. And talking about a GitHub Copilot. So GitHub, I hope many of you might have aware about the GitHub. So GitHub is like a repository. Okay, so where you will be storing all your projects, which is also a version controlled repository like this. Okay, so this is my GitHub page. You might have come across a GitHub page like this. Okay, so there is a repository here. If you just click on this repository, most of the projects you'll be storing it in this repositories. Okay, so here you can find the repository for my AL programming. Okay, so Dynamics 365 Business Central AL programming on the Power BI. So GitHub is primarily used for version controls and storing the data. Then what about GitHub Copilot? So GitHub Copilot is an AI powered code assistant developed by GitHub and OpenAI. This particular copilot, which helps developers write code faster and with fewer errors. So you may ask me a question: what is the difference between ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot? So ChatGPT has a versatile thing, like you can ask anything related to that. Okay, but GitHub Copilot is specifically for the programmers, and whatever the question you have related to your code, you can just ask that. Okay, it helps you with the VS Code itself, like Visual Studio Code itself. Like not only Visual Studio Code, it also supports few IDEs, which is integrated development environment, where you can use that for your coding, like Python, your it supports a lot of coding programming languages, so you can use that. So that is what your GitHub Copilot, which also helps boost productivity, and it has various features as well. Okay, so it has various features, like key features are like core suggestions. It gives you some core suggestions for you, where it will provide a real-time completions and recommendations. You can also understand the project context and suggest relevant code snippets. And GitHub Copilot supports various programming language, including AL for Business Central. That is what we are going to see today. Because to develop Business Central, you should know AL programming. Okay, so you'll be connecting with the AL programming. So the learning capabilities, like it improves over a time period. Like if you are writing something, whatever it understands, it just give you a code, and after that you can refine even more. So GitHub Copilot will boost the productivity by automating the repetitive task, and also it helps write clean and efficient code. It assists in learning new syntax and the concepts as well. You can integrate with the Visual Studio Code for the development. So if you want to use GitHub Copilot for Business Central, you need these things. First thing is what you need: a GitHub Copilot account. So where to get the GitHub Copilot account? You have to go to this particular place. That is, this is a link. I'm just sharing this in the chat window. You can just get it from there. It's a GitHub Copilot where you can get it. Okay. So here, if you just click on this get started, you can get it for free. Okay, GitHub Copilot, you can get it for free. So you can find more about this GitHub Copilot. You can find where it is actually used, what are the FAQs, how you can just get it, and what are the various IDEs it supports. Okay, so everything you can get it from here. So this is the GitHub Copilot. The first thing which you want is what the GitHub Copilot. The second thing which you want is what the Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is an IDE which is primarily used for various programming languages. Okay, and specifically AL programming, like your application language programming will work one like it is used specifically to develop your Business Central ERP. Okay, so for that you really require business and like AL programming and the Visual Studio Code editor. Okay, the first one is your GitHub Copilot, second one is your Visual Studio Code, the third one is your AL language extension. So once you install AL programming, you can install the AL language extension in the Visual Studio Code. I will show you all these steps when we are seeing the demo. And then finally you will be configuring the Business Central. Okay, you have to configure Business Central. That is, from Visual Studio Code you have to connect to Business Central, right? So for that you have to configure, you have to provide all the properties, launch properties which are required, like your server name, your object name, everything you require. Okay, so for that you will be connecting through that. Okay, so all these things once you have done, I'll show you the demo. Okay, it has all these things, like as I told, it has the autocomplete and code suggestions. You can write AL extension faster. Okay, context aware debugging and error handling. It has some context awareness, like whenever you are trying to create something, it has that. And optimizing queries and data access, real world examples, like you can just use your real world example, like a table creation you can tell. Okay, and reusable code snippets. These are all we are going to try. Okay, so while writing the code or while writing the prompt, okay, because GitHub Copilot is an AI, so if you want to talk to the GitHub Copilot, it should be like it should have some specific language. So that is what, like, language we call it as a prompting. You have to write it clearly. Okay, so whatever we write, it cannot like if you are writing in technical terms or a jargons, if you are using some jargons, it cannot really understand what you are trying to write it. Okay, so it is recommended that you should write it properly and clearly. Okay, so how you should write the code, because we are going to write it, right? So before that we should be clear about it. So the first one is you have to use a clear and descriptive prompts. Okay, clear and descriptive prompts, which means that you have to convey it properly. And if you are telling something, describe it clearly. Okay, second thing is leverage Copilot for repetitive task. What does it mean is what? Automate your code generation. Like if you wanted to do something again and again, you can use GitHub Copilot to generate something for you. Okay, use it for creating a standard templates like a table, pages, reports, and even if it is a code in it, sometimes you'll be writing the procedures, logics inside the code in it, in order to get a prop, like in order to call it often. Okay, so you can use that for that. So customize Copilot setting, you should be very clear, and combine Copilot with the AL extension. Okay, stay updated on the features, like you should know what is there, what is not there, and you have to review and refine the suggestion. You should not just simply write it, because since see, it's an AI, right? So it will learn from you. If you're typing something and if it is not giving a proper response, you can tell it, okay, so this is not I'm expecting, so I need it like this, so it can understand. Okay, and what are the things, like few things which it cannot find out, what are the few things which it cannot do, it is what? Business Central will be always updated, right? For every year, twice the changes will happen, that is wave 1 and wave 2. Okay, so whenever these things are happening, there may be some changes in the code snippets as well. So GitHub Copilot cannot understand the recent changes which is happening in the AL programming. So those things you cannot expect from the GitHub Copilot. Okay, so this is what, let's see the live demo. I'm just stopping my screen share and I will share it again, so that it will be easy. I'll share my Visual Studio Code. mm, so I hope my screen is visible here, your Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is my Visual Studio Code. You can see the first thing, as I told, you need a GitHub account. How will you understand? On the right side you can see that your show Copilot status menu. Okay, so this is visible, right? So this, you can, if you just click on this, this should be ready. Okay, your status is ready, it should show you that your status is ready. Okay, and then if you just see here, you can see it is showing that you can just press Control and I to see to activate your GitHub Copilot. Okay, I told you about the extension, right? So here you can find AL Object Designer extension. Just click on this. um, this one. Okay, extensions. If you just click on this extension, you can see that I have already installed GitHub Copilot. Okay, so you have to install this extension. This is what I told, you have to install GitHub Copilot extension. This is the first thing. Okay, so once this is fine, it will show you that it is installed. Okay, and then you can also see that if you just go and search for AL language extension, this should be there, because you have to connect with your Business Central, right? So for that, this is also required. Okay, and then you can see here that this two extensions, it should be there, and this is your Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's go and start writing some prompts here. Let us try some giving some prompts here. Okay, so your prompt should be, as I told, it should be clear. Okay, so we are going to just look into the tables, which is a basic object in Business Central to create a table. Okay, what are we going to do to create a table? Just press Control and I and type this particular prompt: create a table named jewelry items. I'm just giving the name of the table. Okay, and with the fields, okay, that is item ID. Item ID is my column name, and the code is what, like you can see here that the code is my variable. Okay, name is another column name, and text is a variable. You can simply give like this. Okay, so what are the fields you want, what are the table columns you want, you can specify and let it know. Just press enter. So what happens, your GitHub Copilot will generate it for you. See, It is creating a table for you. Jewelry items, this is what I told, I need this particular table. And you can see here the data classification to be classified. And you can also find that I have given like I need item code, name, category. And you can also see that in the category I have mentioned that it should be option, like necklace, ring, bracelet, earring. Okay, so it has created that options as well for me. And then what is the material and weight and price, everything it has given to me completely. Okay, that is one single error, which is my id, because this id I have already used it. So this thing you have to change. Okay, your table is ready now. See how it is actually creating you a super complete program for you. I haven't written a single code, right? I just asked it to create a table named this particular thing, jewelry items, and it has created everything for me. Okay, this is very simple here. So if you want to create a multiple tables like this, you can also do that. Usually, whenever we are creating any project, that may involve at least 10 to even it may be more than 10 tables. Okay, so every time you cannot go and do that, right? Okay, so this is what you have to first do that. Okay, so this is the first table creation we have done. Okay, let us try to create a logic here. Let us try to create, if you want to add something, for example, if I wanted to rewrite this, I just wanted to add a trigger. Okay, for the item id, which should not be null, and which should be auto increment. Okay, okay, auto increment is not possible with the code as of this particular version, so I'm just going to write like rewrite the below code by adding the properties for the item id, uh, as it should not allow any empty null character, null like it should not leave with blank. Okay, blank entries. Okay, blank. So I'm just giving this, and I'm just pressing send. So what happens is what your code will be rewritten. Let's see whether it is rewriting it. Okay, so yes, it is actually rewriting it. So here you can see that it has rewritten like not blank true. Okay, it has made it like not blank true. And you can see that other things are fine. Okay, and also you can also see that since I have used my id as 105, so it is same, it hasn't rewritten anything like 50100. Okay, only this thing has been changed. So it's very simple. Now I wanted to add one more thing, or else, for example, if you wanted to accept this, just click this accept. Okay, or if you want to discard this, click discard, where your table will be erased. Okay, I'm just going to accept this. And once if I come to this particular place, and if I'm just pressing this enter, so now what is happening? See, I didn't type anything, but this copilot is suggesting me the next field. Okay, it is actually suggesting me the next field. So this is what I told. What it will do is autocomplete. Okay, it is auto completing, and it is also giving a code suggestion. So it is doing these things. So if you want to use this, you can just press tab. If you just press tab, it will be available in your code. Okay, and so this is the first one, which you can create a table. We have created a simple table here. Okay, let us try to create a code in it. Fine. So for that, let me just create a new file here, so that we can try clearly, right? So I'm just creating a new file, try 1.al. Okay, so I'm just creating, so give a proper name for your code. I'm just giving it for try L so that I can understand. So I just pressed here, and I'm creating a writer code in it named jewelry sales management, with a function to calculate the total price for sale, applying a discount for a loyalty points. So let me just press the enter. So what is happening? So it will create a code unit called jewelry sales management, and it will also create a function which calculate the total price for the sale, applying a discount for a loyalty points. sales, and it will also apply the loyalty points. So see here, I haven't written anything code in it, and it also creates a code in it with a proper procedure. Okay, and also it is telling me that okay, this is the so what I wanted to insist you here is what, you know, see this loyalty point, it has given by itself, okay, it has calculated by itself. So if you want to change this, you can change this. Okay, if the loyalty point is greater than is equal to 100, how much discount you have to give. If you want to give, if it is greater than 100, how much discount you can decide. Okay, this is the first thing which I just want to tell you. So here again, this coordinate is already, this coordinate id is already created, so that is why it is showing this error. So you can change this. Okay, how you want to change, you can change this. So the code, that is a id, it cannot understand, it cannot find it from anywhere. Okay, so you can check it here. So this is what the coordinate, how you can create it. Fine. Next, let's try to create a trigger for this. Okay, let's try to create a trigger, and let me just add this trigger in our existing table code itself. Okay, so in the try, go to the try and go to the first round and press Ctrl I. Now try this, rewrite the program. So I just want to see, I'm not telling it to rewrite it, okay, just I'm adding like add an on insert trigger to the jewelry items table to validate that the price is greater than 0 and weight is non-negative. Okay, it's a simple prompt which I'm giving. If I'm giving this add this on insert, let's see what it is going to do. Okay, so what happens when I just gave like add an on insert, wherever my cursor is, like where my cursor was, like it has created the trigger there itself, but it hasn't created it, it hasn't included the trigger in a proper place. Okay, so this is what I told. Give the prompt clearly. So how you have to give the prompt? Rewrite. Okay, you have to rewrite it. So rewrite the code by adding an on insert trigger. So you have to give it very clearly, like it has to rewrite. Okay, so because we have given in the previous one, right? So and the command which I have given is also not clear. So what we can do is, can just give, see, rewrite the below code. You can just place your command from table and rewrite the below code by adding an on insert trigger. Let's see what how it is actually behaving. Okay, so inside that it has created. Okay, so now it is not understanding where to write this on insert. So this is what the thing. Okay, so here comes the real challenge. So you have to be very clear like where you have to give. Okay, so next thing is like, so whenever you are trying to create a table, you have to be there and try to reiterate and try to get the answer done. Okay, like this we can create a page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to create a page for my jewelry table. Okay, so I'll be using this particular prompt, create a card page. Okay, so I'm just using this particular prompt here. 1 minute, I'm just stopping it. Okay, so I'm just asking is to create a card page for the jewelry items table with the fields item id, name, category, material, weight and price. Okay, and just I'm pressing enter. So let's see how it is actually creating. It's creating a card page for me, jewelry item cards, page type, and it has created something for me like a group, everything. Okay, so it gave me the complete code where I didn't even touched even a single line. I didn't even do anything here, but it has created the complete it has given me the complete code for me. Okay, So this is the first thing, which is which is really awesome with the help of this GitHub Copilot. Okay, it will create everything, only few errors are there. Now I'm just clicking on this. Okay, see, I'm just clicking on here, it is showing some error, right? 50100. And if you click on this particular error, you can see that it is showing view problem. What is the problem? Quick fix, fix using Copilot. You have three options here. So if anything which can be fixed with the help of the Copilot, you can do that. So if it, because since it's showing fix using Copilot, just click that. Like it is trying to fix the value, and it is trying to find it, because 5000 is not available, sorry, 50100 is not available. So it has replaced that with 50101. Okay, this is an ID which should not be which should not be same for the objects. Okay, so if you know that, you can change it. If you don't know that, you can ask GitHub Copilot to solve it. Okay, so this is the another important keyword which you can use it, like important prompt which you can use it with the help of the this Copilot. Okay, let's also try to create a query. Okay, so query or report. So to write a query, if you want, you can just create a query here. Let's try to create a query. I'll just making it as discard. Okay, I'm just deleting it, and I'm just creating a I'm just giving a code greater than 10,000 grouped by category. So I'm just trying to write a query here. Okay, so this is query, and it is creating jewelry items by category. Okay, and it is showing the data item. Okay, because since it has a this syntax error, so this is what I told. This is not actually the proper snippet of a query. Okay, that is why it's showing some syntax error here. So if you take this, if you just try this T query, this is your snippet. It should start with some query type. What is a query type? And you should know what is a query type, and then it has to starts with an element. But what it gave previously is what it doesn't starts with a query type, and then inside element block you should have this particular data item. Okay, so this small few changes which GitHub Copilot cannot do it. So let's see just whether GitHub Copilot can show what is the error. Okay, so you can see that it is showing like fix using a Copilot. If you click here fix using Copilot, it is trying to generate regenerate the changes which are happening. So it is unable to do what is the changes. So it is unable to do what is the changes. So what happens here? You have to start with a query type. Okay, and then you have to tell like this is an element, and it cannot find like what is the query type you have to give. It is showing like 0. Okay, so 0 is not a entry here. You have to tell what is the type of query it is, like what is a normal query or API query, you have to tell. And then inside your elements, it should start with the data element, data type item. So this is where the exact challenge comes in. So it's always recommended, like when if you are a novice, okay, you are starting something here, don't always completely rely on AI. I'm not talking specifically about any AI. I'm telling in a generic way, don't rely completely on the AI. It should be balanced. You should also ask your AI, and also you should learn from it. You should learn from the errors what you're making it. If you're not getting it, you should know how to see the exact snippet. Okay, what is actually happening here and how to start with this. Okay, you should know how to do all these things. Okay, and then next to talk about is what the report generation. Okay, how you can create a report out of it. Just press Ctrl I and give that create a report for jewelry item, showing item ID, name, material, weight, price and category, sorted by price and descending. Let us see how this report is. Even I can assure that even report will be the report layout will not be aware by the gate. It is also finding the, yeah, so this is the latest thing, but in the layout it is showing some error, and you can see it is not completely understand the snippet, because the changes will be happening always, right? So you should be aware of the changes which is happening here. Okay, so what happens here is what, inside the layout it should tell what is the layout of your report, like whether it is an Excel layout or whether it is a PDF custom layout, or whether it is a Word layout. Okay, so it has to tell in that way. But what it is showing inside layout, it is showing you the content of the page. Okay, content of the page, like how it should be. So this is, here is where the error will be. So in the layout, so we have to change everything. So you should know the snippet here. Okay, you can just, if you want, you can just delete and come back, or else you can just like you can inform your GitHub Copilot. Okay, so this is what, here is how the layout actually. So this is rendering your layout name, what is the layout. Okay, and then you can see like this, you can add multiple layouts. So this is the first one, which is an Excel layout. So if you wanted to add any layout, okay, so I'm just giving layout. So it is giving some auto suggestion for me, right? So layout name, okay, which is a word. And then if you start with, it is showing that it's a PDF. So it should be, there is no type as a PDF, it should be a custom layout. Okay, so you can just make it like what type of report it should be. So you should be clear, and for the custom layout you have to do some more changes if you want to convert it into the PDF. So like if it is a basic snippet, yes, it's fine. But if you are trying to use it along with a complex snippets, it is good to learn it and come back. Okay, so that is what always which will help you. But other than this, like enum, if you are creating some enums don't the enums template or the enum snippet will not change often. Okay, like I'm just asking it to create an enum named jewelry category with the values necklace, ring, brace, and earrings. So the enum may be clear because the this will not change often, this snippet will not change often. Okay, this template of creating an enum will not change often. Got it? So this is fine. But a few things like reports, query, even though it's a pages like Power API pages, it has to be like revalidated when you're creating it. It's always good to revalidate it often, so that you can understand, even if it is showing some error, you should know like what is the error happening. Okay, so what I can suggest you is, what always you can have your Business Central, Microsoft documentation along with you, so that you will understand actually what is the issue there and how to overcome the issue. Okay, I always recommend you to just go ahead and check with the Microsoft thing. Okay, so this is what I wanted to specifically insist on you. Okay, so we have like we saw, like we have, it has a feature for auto completion and code suggestions. Okay, because when you are trying to give something here, okay, I'm just trying to give something here. Okay, so I'm just pressing enter. So what it is happening, it is trying to, it will, because since I have just given something, if I'm clicking value, so what it is showing, it is showing value for other. If you want another value, it is also giving, this is what suggestions. Okay, it is giving me some suggestions here. And you can easily write it faster, because instead of typing each and every letter, each and every words one by one, if your GitHub is with you, you can just complete the code faster. Okay, so that is what the second thing which I wanted to which I wanted to share it with you. Okay, so the third one is what I just context awareness. Okay, so the debugging and error handling, because there you can find there is a specific option called quick fix with a Copilot. Okay, fix with Copilot, which will really helps you to fix the error with the help of the Copilot. Okay, and you can create a table. You can tell, you have to be like so far you have seen my prompt, right? I didn't overloaded the Copilot prompt, like okay, do this, that, comma, 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 add this procedure, add this trigger, add this everything. I didn't specifically, like I didn't overloaded it. I just told like okay, create. It's a simple term. Okay, even if you just, if you are typing, instead of typing all these things, okay, I'm just going to write it like create an enum named jewelry category. if I'm just giving only these things, okay, instead of telling with the values necklace or something, okay, let us just try that. Okay, what it will happen. Okay, I'm just pressing this and I'm telling that you have to create a name, a jewelry category, okay, or pricing category. Okay, let me just, okay, discount category, I'm just giving discount category. So let me see like what discount category it is creating to create an enum, because I haven't mentioned that okay, these are the things you have to do that. Okay, these are the enum you have to create it. But simply I just told to create a discount category, so it has created like none, seasonal, clearance, promotional. Okay, so if you are generally talking, you can just give that okay what do you want, it will create something for you. And it is a reusable code, right? Because we are just giving, and whenever you want to use it anywhere, you can just try to use it for your your reusable code, which means that in the code unit, or if you wanted to add it in the procedure, if you want to create a procedure and if you wanted to add it anywhere, you can also do it. Okay, so this is what the major thing in your GitHub Copilots, and specifically in the AI, GitHub Copilot AI. So, what is the major difference here? Is what you are just trying to access the GitHub Copilot in your IDE itself. Okay, so this is your Visual Studio Code IDE. You can just directly ask it. So, if it is a chat GPT, what happens? You have to just go ahead. Okay, so you have to go to your chat GPT, try searching for something, and then you have to come back. Okay, so and then sometimes your code you have to copy there, come here, it won't be like there inside your program itself, like your code itself, Visual Studio Code itself. Okay, and so it is always good to just go ahead with your GitHub Copilot when you are using it. Okay, so this you can try various prompting, like what type of like if you are creating a procedure. Okay, what are the procedures, like if you have the logic, you can just try to insist the logic there. For example, if you want to create a procedure to calculate something here, okay, as a thing, for example, you can tell the procedure to generate a unique transaction IDs for the sales in the sales transaction table. Yes, if you want to create a function called inventory update to decrease the stock quantity of an item after a sale, yes, you can do it. Okay, so like this you can just you have to innovate yourself, like how you have to write the prompt. So prompting is very important here. Okay, and then another important thing is what, be clear, okay, and be concise. Okay, so that is very important in this. And another important thing is what, you should know what you're trying to implement. Instead of like if you are asking something generically, it sometimes it may fail to give it to you. Okay, if you're asking something in a generic way. Okay, for example, here you can see so far I have given a table. Okay, I told that too it has to create a table, right? If I'm giving something like create a table to store employee data, I'm just giving generically, I didn't give any specific column, I'm not asking it to create a specific column to be created. Okay, I'm not asking it to create what types it has to use. Okay, I'm not asking this to create an what data types it has to use. Okay, I'm not telling anything specifically, but generically I'm asking it to create a table to store the employee table. So what is happening here, it is it will create an it is creating me employee ID, first name, last name, birth date, job title, department. For example, if you want to add a blood group, if you want to add something like your address, their address, you have to tell. And you can see that for everything right from employee ID. Previously we have mentioned that it has to use the code, okay, code data type. So it has clearly mentioned that it should be what code it has mentioned it. It has clearly it gave you with the proper data type. But now what happens is what, here we haven't mentioned that employee ID is an integer. and the first name text, okay, last name. And for everything, for anything, it will just take it as a text. And you can also see that for every if you wanted to rewrite it, then you have to tell, okay, for email id you have to do this basic validation, do the validation for the email id, like that you have to insist on it. Okay, so this is how you can use the GitHub Copilot for your for your development, your language development, your al programming language development. You can use your GitHub Copilot. And I'll be just showing you like what are the various other IDEs which are supported and what are the languages which are supported. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, so this is a code suggestions with IDE. So these are the languages which it supports. Like I know, like it supports Python. Okay, you can see here, okay, these are all the IDEs which it supports. And your code suggestions, it will load. Just give me a second. I'll meanwhile I'll just show this. So these IDEs, okay, so Azure Data Studio, JetBrains, vim, Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code, and Xcode. So you can find that, okay, these are the code IDEs, specifically the IDEs which it supports. Okay, so you can find everything here, and which IDEs you can use it. IDE is an integrated development environment. Here we have tried to implement it in the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so you can also try it in these codes. Like if you are using anything else here, which is mentioned here, is what, like JetBrains IDE or Visual Studio Code. So you can also try that. Okay, and they have even gave you some example prompts, like how you can use the prompts. Okay, error, if it is, it has to parse the error, how to locate the error, everything you can give it. And the second thing is like what are the languages which it supports. Okay, GitHub Copilot actually supports multiple languages, but it works better. Okay, because they haven't mentioned here al, because it supports but it is not actually completely into the al. Because as I told, al they'll be updating the snippets often. So it is showing like you can see Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Ruby, Go, C sharp, and C++. It is it will support it better. You can find all these code here. Okay, apart from this, is also supports various other languages, but not completely, because of changing nature. Okay, like always updating nature, it cannot assure you that it always supports you. Okay, so this is what your how to use your GitHub Copilot. Okay, and these are the other study materials. I always recommend you to first go ahead with the Microsoft Learn. Okay, so Microsoft Learn, Business Central. So Business Central material you have for Microsoft Learn, you can just go ahead with that. Okay, so this is the one. Just if you go ahead with the Business Central Microsoft Learn, you can find all the details, like how to use, how to connect with. Okay, or for the developers as well as the functional. So this is a primary source reference for me as well. Okay, and then if you require additional support, you can also visit my YouTube, where you can find various things for al programming specifically. And I'm also uploading for MB 820, because Dynamics 365 Business Central developer, you should be an if you wanted to become a certified developer, you have to do MB 820. So you can also find if you want to become pro in your Business Central, you can find a Business Central developer associate exam. I'm uploading it every week. And you also find a bootcamp for al coding, which is already complete, already it's over, and I'm just planning for the next year as well. And this is Business Central technical consultant as well. So even my primary resource is a Microsoft Learn. From that, I'll be just innovating something more, and I'll be delivering here in my channel. Okay, so here you can see the complete learning path, explore the core functionalities, and you can find lot of collections in here. So I will just share this link with you so that you can get some idea. I'm just sharing it in the chat, and you can also find me in the chat. Okay, so this is the complete learning path. Okay, collection. And also, if you want, if soft exam, and if you require any 50 percentage off coupon, please let me know so that I can provide you a 50 percentage off coupon. How you can get it? You can join my Microsoft Learning Room. So here you can find, this is my Microsoft Learning Room, and if you click on this particular link, you can find. So I'm not only asking like you should, I'm not insisting you that you should only join my learning room. No, there are various other learning rooms which are available specifically for a domain specific, like Azure, for Power BI. So you have various learning rooms available here. If you wanted to join any of these learning rooms, you can join there. Okay, so it's loading, sorry. So what you have to do is, what you have to join any one of the learning room here. How to join? You can click on which domain you wanted to go with. Okay, which specific learning room you are interested in. So I'm also sharing this link here. And if you want to join my learning room for specifically for the Business Central, you can find it here. So what is the procedure is, what you have to submit your form. Okay, this is my learning room. You can submit the form. Once if you click here, it will take you to the form. You have to submit a form there. Okay, so once you are you are like you will be validated, and once it is verified, once you are a verified Microsoft learning as a learner, so they'll be allowing you in. Okay, so you will be into my learning room, and once you're in, you can ping from there itself, like you will be provided with a Teams tenant. So you can find me, you can just search for Gomathi, Dr. Gomathi, you can find me, and you can connect with me so that I can provide you 50 percentage coupon. Okay, so this is very simple thing, there is no cost involved in it. You have to just join the learning room, that's it. So I can provide 50 percentage of Microsoft coupon for those who are a learner. Okay, those who are a learner, I can provide them a 50 percentage coupon. Okay, so if you want to learn more about Business Central, you can just explore my YouTube as well. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask me the questions. You can scan here. I can answer your questions here.